You might be the single mom with 3 kids, and they don't realize that you also run a marketing department. They don't realize that you do real estate on the side because you never post about it. You never showcase it. I spend over $60 million a year with influencers for brands, products, and mobile apps. And a lot of those people are not really big brands. Some of them are celebrities and influencers, but a lot of people have 8,000 followers and 20,000 followers, and they're getting paid just as much as someone with 200,000 followers. Why? Because people feel emotionally attached to those people that are showcasing their lives. And so I'm going to walk you through real life why brands do it and why people should be doing it, and someone at your agency, your brand, your company should be doing it for that brand. We buy from people that we know, like, and trust. And I'm going to give you a real life example of how to build that. Let's say I'm flying here to New York City, and I just landed this morning. And I'm about to go to meet up with David Steinberg, Zeta Global Live. I'm super excited. And as I'm getting there, I'm pulling out into the taxi, and right there on the side of the taxi says the #1 real estate agent in New York City. Jump into this taxi, I'm super excited, I gotta go get my suit on. And on the right and left side of the freeway is the #1 real estate agent and the #1 real estate agent. Exiting the freeway, driving down Madison Avenue. And on Madison Avenue, this huge bus drives by, and it says the #1 real estate agent. But none of them were the same person. We have no emotional attachment to the #1 real estate agent. There's probably 28,000 agents in a 10-mile radius of where we are right this second. But let me give you a different example of someone who I would think about. Let's say David's like, you know what, I want to buy a building here right next door to this space. And I say, oh, there's this amazing lady. Her name is Jennifer. Every Monday night, Jennifer, the real estate agent, she goes on date night with her husband. Every Tuesday morning, it's really sweet, she does this carpool. She takes all the local kids over to school. Every Wednesday night, she started learning salsa dancing so that her and her husband could go dancing on Thursdays. Wednesday night, she practices. Thursday, they actually go salsa dancing. Friday nights, no matter what, they have this barbecue potluck at their house. And then every Saturday is open house Saturday. She does these real estate open houses for like 8 hours, back-to-back open houses. She's doing all this amazing real estate stuff. And Sunday mornings, it's really sweet, she drives her grandma to church. Her grandma's name is Deborah, kind of hurt her back, so she's in a wheelchair. And then afterwards, she takes her to brunch. And David's like, wow, how long have you known Jennifer, the real estate agent? I'm like, well, I've actually never met her before. I just follow her on Instagram. But then I go to the DMs and I group message David Steinberg, Jennifer, the real estate agent. He goes and buys a $12 million building. She makes 3%. She makes $360,000 commission, and she never even knew who I was. Why did I refer her? There was a #1 real estate agent, a #1 real estate agent, billboards, buses, because I don't remember them. I have no emotional attachment to them. I have an emotional attachment to her going to salsa dancing, her going to church with her grandma, Deborah, and her hurt back, her taking the kids over to school. I feel an emotional attachment because of something that she did. It could be hiking, pickleball, basketball, working out, date night. If we buy from people that we know, like, and trust, how can I know, like, and trust you more than grandmas and puppies and date night and church? I feel an emotional attachment to you. And if I have an emotional attachment, it's called top-of-mind awareness. To create top-of-mind awareness versus 28,000 other real estate agents, you have to stand out. You're not going to stand out from your condo or your open houses or your penthouse or the fancy listings that you have. You did 20 million sales or $1 billion in sales. That doesn't make you stand out. The emotional attachment is what creates the top-of-mind awareness. Now, would it be good for that agent, Jennifer, to also spend money on some billboards and buses? Sure. That's called edifying. You're edifying yourself by doing that. But the average person in this room sees 3,500 logos and faces per day. We just don't feel it anymore. We are bombarded by logos and faces on social media, especially in New York City. Every billboard, bus stop that's outside, we're bombarded by it. We are inundated with logos and faces. How are you going to make someone stand out that's just another real estate agent? You do that by creating the emotional attachment. And everything I said about Jennifer, the real estate agent, you can do for free. I didn't say she went and spent a bunch of money to rent out a salsa class. She was already going to salsa class. I didn't say she was going to go rent out or buy a church. She was going to church with her grandma. She's already going to do the things in her life. Date night, work, open house Saturdays. She's already doing those things. All I'm saying is someone should pull their phone out and take a quick photo or a 15-second or 20-second video. By doing that, by showcasing your life, you stand out as the real estate agent. If you noticed when I talked about everything she did, I only mentioned open house Saturdays. She really only posted about real estate on Saturday, but I remember it. She did 6 listings on Saturdays. It's in my mind. I'm emotionally attached to her because of grandmas and churches and puppies and date night and carpooling the kids and barbecue. I have an emotional attachment to her from the other things, but I know she does real estate because every Saturday is open house Saturday. It's almost like a brand in my mind. And so for you, your brand, your company, your agency, or your personal brand, you can create the exact same thing for free. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube are free, 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 and free. 1 billion users, 2 billion users, 1 billion users. Instagram has 3 billion active users as of 3 weeks ago, for free. You have access to the world literally for free. I'm assuming everyone here has an iPhone or an Android. Congratulations, you have one of the nicest cameras in human history with you 24 hours a day. The cameras on your phones will be better than those $30,000 cameras in the next year or two. And as soon as those $30,000 cameras become 40 grand and 50 grand, your camera on your phone will catch up. The iPhone 18, 19, and 20 will make those look like toys. You literally have access to the world, every major platform, for free. And for the last 14 years, I've done hundreds of thousands of paid posts with influencers. My life has been paying influencers since the beginning of time. I would drive to the Kardashians' houses and drop off Fashion Nova dresses. I would go over to Kylie and Kim, give them fit tea and all these things 11 years ago, 13 years ago. And I've watched the progression of humans feeling an emotional attachment. Back then, there was no word influencer. I would just make up a price about what to pay a rapper to post about a product. What should I pay this wrestler or this influencer or this girl with 1 million followers? What should I pay them? It's still a bit of the wild, wild west now, but back then we were just trying to figure it out. The ones that stood out were the people that created the emotional attachment, the people that showcased their lives. Do you know that beauty influencers make 800% more than anyone else that I pay in social media? I pay beauty influencers 800% more than any other category. You know why? Because they start off their videos raw, no makeup on. And they talk you through how they build their face or build their look, whether it's for prom, date night, whatever they're doing. They're making you feel believable because they start off vulnerable. The number 2 influencers is fitness influencers. The reason fitness influencers get so much money is because they show themselves sweating. They show themselves in the gym. They show themselves running, working out. What do they eat? What do they drink? Where do they sleep? They're telling us everything about their personal life. So they get higher engagement, and I pay them more money. The influencers that have the perfect posts and the perfect Photoshop, they're getting the least amount of money and the least amount of engagement. If you remember nothing that I say today, remember these words for the rest of your life when it comes to marketing. Perfect is not relatable. Perfect is not relatable. We see through perfection. We see through Photoshop. Everyone here knows about filters. We know when this is Photoshopped. We know when it's filtered. And we don't believe it or feel it the way we do when someone shows something raw. If someone posts a video right now, let's say I post a video of this speech right now from that camera, and I make a video from that camera and post it, and it's super fancy and there's fireworks and unicorns, and then I make the exact same video right here, and I make it with my phone, this video will have 6 times the views. Want to check? Go on Gary Vee or go on any major influencer, go on their pages, look at their fancy video, and look at their phone video like this. You will see on average 6 times the engagement, 6 times the views, because this one on this fancy camera looks like a commercial. This looks like an ad. So when we're scrolling, it doesn't feel real. What do we do when we see ads? We skip by it. If we're watching TV, we skip by it. We are trained to skip by ads. The reason that ads in the first 3 seconds have to make us stop is because we're going to make a decision in those 3 seconds. And at some point, it could be 2 or 1 because we're in an ADD society. When we see an ad, we are literally mentally trained to scroll by it, or go to the bathroom, go to the kitchen, do something else besides watching the ad. In order for you to stand out, you have to create an emotional impact, or what's called a pattern interrupt. A pattern interrupt, when someone is, it's called doom scrolling. When someone is scrolling or doom scrolling, a pattern interrupt is something that stands out. That could be loud colors. That could be the camera moving. If you notice a lot of videos on TikTok, it starts off where the influencer reaches for the phone and then talks to you. That's just a pattern interrupt. They could have held the phone 2 seconds ago. They did it on purpose to make you stop. When you're scrolling through social media, you're going to start to notice a pattern interrupt. You'll literally see the video move, the influencer move, something shake, something twist, right in the first 3 seconds, because we have to do that as influencers, creators, or brands to make people stop, because we are bombarded by content. We are bombarded mentally, physically, and emotionally by content, by commercials, by ads, etc. And it's not slowing down, especially with AI. What we're seeing here today, especially at this conference, is showcasing to the world that AI is here. Just last week when Sora 2 came out, it is the most mind-blowing, staggering thing that's ever hit humanity when it comes to the cell phone. I made a video last week that got an insane amount of engagement because it was me beating up Jake Paul inside of Madison Square Garden. I didn't actually beat up Jake Paul. He's a lot bigger than me. We're friends. And he commented it was messed up that I beat him up. But in this video, this AI video, I'm beating up Jake Paul. Then I make a scene in the same video where we're UFC fighting. And in the same scene, this whole 45 seconds, I'm now running with him like we're in the Matrix. And then we're at a Sopranos-type Italian dinner. In 45 seconds, I put in 5 different videos of me versus Jake Paul in an Italian mafia setting, the Matrix, the UFC on the White House lawn, and boxing in Madison Square Garden with people chanting my name with my shirt off, beating up this guy who's much bigger. I did that in 3 minutes. What's going to happen when a 15-year-old figures it out and they can make hundreds of those per day? What's going to happen when a brand executive that's worked at VaynerMedia for 12 years knows everything about marketing? What happens when they get a hold of it? What's going to happen to our society when tens of thousands of videos are being created by people every single day from every single angle? You have to stand out, whether it's for yourself as a personal brand or for your corporation, brand, product, or service. So I'm going to walk you through some things that hold people back mentally from creating social media. The first thing is they think it's too expensive. They think they need a fancy videographer, fancy camera, but we already talked about that. Everyone here has an iPhone or Android, so you already have one of the nicest cameras in the world. It doesn't cost any money. We also talked about the fact that all 6 major platforms are completely free. There is no cost basis to create content on social media. Can you spend money? Of course. Adley spends hundreds of thousands of dollars a week on making content, but she gets 1 billion views a month by creating that type of content. You can spend money, and it makes sense to do it, but you don't have to. You can gain thousands of views, tens of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of views. There are pages on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook that are started today, and by tonight have 11 million views when they only have 182 followers. Why? We are an engagement society now. The content is king. There are plenty of influencers with 1 million followers that get 10,000 views. And there are influencers with 1,200 followers that literally get 1 million, 2 million, 3 million views left and right, often, because of the engagement, because people are sharing it, because people are reposting it. That is not to dissuade you, it is to inspire you. There's a 15-year-old kid that I used to pay $200, $300 to post on social media. That kid now makes $18 million a year making content. When I paid him $200 or $300, he was living in a hut in Hawaii. There's a 92-year-old lady who couldn't afford rent at her hospital, like the elderly care. It was $800, she couldn't afford it. This year, I spent over $600,000 with her. Why? She's 92 years old, she can't walk, and she just makes funny videos where the doctor or the nurse walks in and she throws her pudding at them or flips over the food tray. She makes relatable content that's funny with the doctors and nurses. So 2 years ago, couldn't spend $800 to pay rent, now makes $600,000 just from me. And she makes more money from other agencies. You have no excuse not to make content. A 15-year-old in a hut, a 92-year-old that can't walk. I can tell you hundreds of stories like that. That is mind-boggling. It's why I'm so passionate about social media. It's why I'm so passionate about it, because it's been villainized. People look at social media, they look at the marketing, and they only look at the small bad part of it. They only look at the small bad parts of it for society. I've watched it change the world. Over the last 12 years, I throw something called the world's largest toy drive. So here, coming up December 21st, we're filling up the American Dream Mall with 119,000 toys. 11 years ago, there was 8 of us on the floor wrapping toys. Then 20 volunteers, then 40. Now we fill up SoFi Stadium, BMO Stadium, American Dream Mall, etc., with hundreds of thousands of toys because of my cell phone. Over and over and over, making content can lead to hundreds of thousands of toys. It can lead to tens of millions of dollars in sales for you, your company, your brand, your product, your service. The things that I talk about are part of real life. If you look at my account, I have around 8,000 posts on social media. That's because I post once or twice a day. Once or twice a day for 14 years, that's around 5,000 days. 5,000 times 1 or 2 is about 8,000. So when I talk to you about you should post once or twice a day, it's because I live and breathe it. I'm not preaching about things that I read about in a data chart. You guys can do it on a very, very simple basis without spending $1. When you're at the gym, make a quick piece of content. You and your 4 girlfriends are having wine, take a quick photo of you and your 4 girlfriends. You're going to go to Pilates, you're going to go to the real estate office, you're going to live your real life. I'm just asking you to pull out the phone, the camera that you already have with you. I'm not asking you to buy a camera, you have it. I'm not asking you to spend money on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, it's free. And by doing it, and I think you can feel the passion in my voice, it can literally change your life. Whether it's toys for children or people making millions of dollars, it's all done from their cell phones for free. Everyone here has access to it. And as I'm preaching to you about it, it might not just be you. It could be for kids, adults, your neighbors, your friend from school, someone that just got fired from their job, someone that needs to make some extra income. The amount of money to be made from social media now is mind-boggling. I literally have high school kids that are working with me and around me for TikTok Shop. On TikTok Shop, I have kids selling sneakers that are doing 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand a month to them. That means they're selling hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. They have 20,000 followers, 8,000 followers, 60,000 followers. It's not like they have millions of followers. They're 17 years old and 24 years old, etc. I know a mom that has 3 kids, freshly divorced, wasn't really sure what she was going to do, and she was a nursing assistant. But it was too time-consuming when she had her 3rd child. She started TikTok Shop, and she literally just sells household equipment from the kitchen and from the bathroom. That's it. She owns no products. She creates no products. She just sells other people's products through TikTok Shop as an affiliate. And guess what? She has now supplemented her income. It's nothing crazy or staggering, but for her to make $4,600 last month, that's an actual number, $4,600 last month, compared to what she made as a nursing assistant, where she was working 12 hours a night, has changed her life. And so I'm not up here preaching that everyone's going to make millions of dollars or that anyone here needs to make tons of money from social media, but it's real life. Whether someone's going to make $4,600 or $46 million in sales, it can be created without anything special. It's done through consistency. Now, a lot of people ask, what should I post? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, etc., you can make one piece of content with one caption and do what's called repurposing. You might like Instagram or Facebook as your main platform, but you can't miss out on posting on Twitter, on TikTok, on Threads, etc. They're free. You might only have 400 followers on Twitter and 900 followers on Threads, but what if one of them is David Steinberg? What if one of them is me, and I push repost or retweet, or I take a screenshot and I send it to someone who's an investor, a partner, a franchisee, a brand, a client? You're putting yourself in a position to get lucky by making content. By showcasing your world for free, you're putting yourself in a position to get lucky. You might have someone send you a referral for a client, investor, partner, etc. So the content that you create is one piece of content for one main platform that you like. I call that social media. The other platforms, if you don't really care for them, is just media. What I mean by that is, you might not want to interact on Twitter. Maybe you don't want to go back and forth on Facebook or Threads. You still use it for media. You still post your content here on that platform. If you don't want to be social, you don't have to. If you enjoy being social on Instagram or Facebook, you can interact and engage, like, comment, DM, etc. But you can't miss out on posting on the platforms that you don't like just because you don't like them. Treat it like a job. Spend the extra 14 seconds to push copy and paste. Once you copy and paste and push submit, your post goes live. That's just media. But by doing that, you don't know what can happen. Repost, retweet, screenshot, forward it to their friend, etc. There's some pieces of content that I post on TikTok that get 400 views, and other pieces that get 11 million views. That same content that got 400 views on TikTok might get 80,000 on Twitter, and then vice versa, only gets 2,000 on Twitter. We don't know which platform is going to enjoy it the most, and so you want to make sure you're on all 6 platforms. Now, it might sound overwhelming. Oh my God, Dan wants me to post on 6 different platforms. I do, but I only want you to make one piece of content. And by doing that, that one piece, you'll keep the top of mind awareness. Another big thing, not to make it feel overwhelming, you can create content on a Sunday morning and knock out 10, 20, 30 pieces of content. So you can go to Google or ChatGPT and research your main category or your main niche, your career, your passion, or your hobby. So if you love pickleball, or you love chess, or you love poker, or you love makeup, fashion, research the top 10 videos in that category, and it'll literally tell you what people like. It'll tell you what people search. So if you're making a piece of content, whether it's a video or a photo, you'll know for sure that people like this because you'll notice the engagement and the views on that topic. When you search on Google, it'll show you top 10, 20, 30, 40 things, and you can replicate those videos for yourself in your voice. But you will know for sure that people care about it because it's already one of the highest listed on ChatGPT, Google, etc. So you pick a Sunday morning at 8 a.m. You whiteboard out or put on your phone, here's the 20 videos that I'm going to make. Why do I say that? It's called content stacking. Content stacking is where you have it saved up in your phone, and it removes the stress on a Wednesday morning when you're busy. Because you're like, oh no, Dan told me, a little Dan's on your shoulder, Dan told me I got to post. Well, if you were doing that on a Wednesday morning and you got stressed out that I'm yelling at you to post, you would feel much less stressed if you already had 21 pieces of content in your phone. I don't need you to create content on a daily basis. When you're in the action, you're here at Zeta Live, there's a ton of pieces of content to make here, right? From speakers, friends that you see, people in your industry, things that you can make content with. These are unique days. But on a Wednesday morning when it's quiet and you don't know what to post, I'd rather you have 8 pieces of content from today that you can utilize next Wednesday when it's quiet. Does that make sense? That's called content stacking. It will relieve the stress. And guess what? If Wednesday rolls around and you don't post, that's okay. We'll be fine. We'll still be here Thursday. Your followers are not going to all leave because you don't post on Wednesday. I would prefer if you stayed consistent, posting once or twice a day. But if you can't make it on a Wednesday or Thursday because you're sick or you're tired or you're busy or you're flying, all your followers, we're still going to be here on Thursday and Friday. It's totally okay. The consistency helps though. By keeping the top of mind awareness, it helps for everything around you. Now, people wonder, how do they grow followers? You grow followers from these 4 ways. 1, make them laugh. Now, not all of us are funny. I'm not that funny, but I follow funny accounts. And because I follow funny accounts that are themed pages or comedians, I can tell what's funny through data. What do I mean by that? Let's say I follow a themed page or a comedian, and normally it's like 800 comments, 600 comments, 700 comments, 7,000 comments. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. This is funnier, right? Something is engaging about this one because the other ones had 600 or 700 comments. This one had 7,000. I can now utilize that content, make my own version of it, repost it, share it, comment on it. Why? Here's what's interesting. I post mostly business content and charity content. But at least once a week for the last 14 years, I post memes and funny videos. The reason I do that is, all of a sudden, out of the woodworks, I get a bunch of engagement and a bunch of people talking to me that think I'm really funny. I am not that funny. I am reposting funny content, but by default, I become funny in their eyes and in their mind. So I see a funny video, or I see a funny meme, and I see that piece of content, and I post that, I am now by default funny. And all of a sudden, people are interacting with me, DMing me, commenting, sharing my post. I did not make that post. I didn't do it. But by sharing that piece of content and commenting on it or making my version of it, I am now funny in their minds. They have an emotional attachment to me. They are reacting to me. They might not have responded to me for 100 business videos, 56 charity videos. They might not have ever responded, but all of a sudden, they're interacting with me because I am now funny for this video or photo. You can do that for free easily by just reposting things that are funny. Number 2, teach them something. If you teach them something, they will feel indebted to you. You teach them how to make a healthier mac and cheese. You teach them how to do their makeup. You teach them how to ride a bike. You teach them how to tie a tie. By teaching them something of their life, they will feel indebted to you. They will forward your video. They will share your video. They will repost your video because you taught them something. The math gets really crazy if just 8 people are sharing your video here and there. Because those 8 people have 3,000 followers, 25,000 followers, 8,000 followers, 9,000 followers, and 8 times 10,000, 20,000 is a lot, especially when you do it consistently. By having your content teach people or make them laugh, you will have people share your content. Number 3, show them something timely. Timely means, right now, if I posted about UFC fight between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, who cares? That was like 6 or 7 years ago. The night that I posted it, I had 17 million views on an account that only had 26,000 followers. Why? Because I posted it right when the fight ended. If I posted about it now, wah, 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 no one would care. This years ago, I would barely get any engagement because it's old news. So if you see something timely in the industry or timely in media and you post about it, you will get a lot of shareable engagement, and the platform, the algorithm, will showcase it because it's a hot topic, a hot keyword, or something going on. And the 4th and final thing is, show them something in their industry. So a lot of people are following you for something going on. It might be the way you look, it might be the hobby that you do, maybe you love to post about basketball or poker or football or surfing or golf. They might follow you for your hobby or sport, or they follow you for your career, your industry, or what you're up to. By teaching them and showcasing them something about that industry that you're in. So obviously you're here at Zeta Live. If you're showcasing about the marketing industry or what you do as a brand, and you work for Land Rover, or you work for AOL, or you work for this big company, you making content about why you're here, what you're doing, it edifies you. It showcases to the world that you are here and you are involved in the industry space. There are hundreds of thousands of people in the marketing industry, right? There's probably millions of jobs in general. But there's 2,000 people here in this room at this amazing conference. By making content here, teaching them something, showing them something that's going on in the industry, talking about AI, obviously what David is talking about today with Athena, with the AI that they're creating, talking about things that are going on in the world, it edifies you. It makes them think about you, and it makes them feel like they want to follow on in your journey. So when someone says, oh, I need someone for Facebook ads, they think of your agency. Oh, you know what, I need someone for design. They think of your creative agency. By you showcasing content of you in the industry, of you living your life, of the things that are going on in your world, you will literally build the personal brand, whether you like it or not. My name is Dan Fleyshman. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you later this afternoon.